The Media Association of St. Kitts and Nevis, in a press release issued 30 January 2024, disclosed what is called an anti-news media policy that has been adopted by the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation and International Transport, inclusive of SCASPER. The Media Association described the anti-news media policy as, quote, unacceptable, an affront to citizens and residents of the Federation, and certainly counterproductive in the context of transparency, accountability, and democracy, end quote. According to the Media Association's press release, the media exclusion from major events at the air and seaports operated by SCASPER was observed since 2023, and there was no communication either from SCASPER or the ministry about the exclusion policy. The association noted that previously the private sector news media were always invited to cover major events at the Robert L. Bratch International Airport and the Port Zante cruise ship facility, with invitations to the media to submit particulars for persons attending in advance of the event. Private sector news media note, for example, their exclusion from on-site coverage of the inaugural flights of Inter-Caribbean Airways, Caribbean Airlines and JetBlue, nor were the news media invited to cover the reopening of the aircraft park and apron directly in front of the airport terminal. The association stated attempts were made to contact the management of SCASPER without success, and recently wrote to the Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation and International Transport about the matter and awaits a response. The press release indicated that the Media Association remains open for discussion on the matter with the relevant authorities. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline. St. Kitts and Nevis welcomed passengers and crew of the largest cruise ship in the world, Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas, which docked at Port Zante on Tuesday, 30th January 2024. Icon of the Seas was on its maiden commercial voyage, arriving from its Miami home port direct to St. Kitts. The ship has the capacity for 7,600 passengers and 2,350 crew. The 20-deck, £1.6 billion sterling Icon of the Seas is now the lead ship of the Icon-class cruise ships. While in St. Kitts, many passengers engage in island tours, excursions to Nevis, hiking, rainforest treks, the scenic railway tour, as well as visits to historical and natural sites, and taking on the beach scene. Two other cruise ships were in port, creating very high demand for taxis. The Icon, with its 40 restaurants, bars and lounges, a 6-slide water park and 28 different cabin categories, is described by some to be environmentally friendly, being the first ship in Royal Caribbean's fleet to use liquid natural gas, and is said to be 24% more fuel efficient than the Oasis-class ships. As is usual on inaugural visits of cruise ships, a brief ceremony was held on board the ship with various local tourism stakeholders. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Why do I love the cable? Well, I have the internet service at home and I never have issues with connectivity. And the way that they're always giving back to the community, that's impressive, and that's a win in my book.
Introducing St. Kitts and Nevis's newest TV channel, Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV. TVC promises to deliver the finest in television broadcasting in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean, with some of the best local programs in news, sports, and entertainment. Join us for Insights, where we delve into the lives of our guests.
Let me see what happens if I put this to it. Big explosion, like, okay, note to self, don't do that again.
Or get in-depth analysis on Newsline 360. We have sports, entertainment, and inspiration. It's all here on TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV, on TelTV Cable Network in St. Martin, and on our website www.tvcplus.live. TVC Channel 40. See the difference.
beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
Because when I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
I love the cable because they're real. What you see is what you get. No hidden agenda, just real, honest communication.
Progress is being made on the completion of the new wing at the Alexandra Hospital in Charlestown, Nevis, updates Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley. He provided the latest update at his monthly press conference on Tuesday, January 30th.
Well, I'm able to report that the necessary information that we were waiting for, the final quantity takeoffs, that those are now in hand. We have put together a local committee guided by our project management unit, and they're currently evaluating that information. And we convened an all parties meeting earlier this month, and I'm now told that we expect for the actual construction to resume in the first half of this year. And so I'm happy that the impediment that we had has now been removed, and that we expect now to be able to move forward with this critical project and to move forward with the construction to get us to a point of completion. And so I thank you for your patience. I know members of the press have kept asking, and members of the public, naturally. It is an important project, and it has been delayed. It has been delayed, in my humble opinion, for far too long. But we are now getting it back on track, and we expect that we will have that project completed in short order. So I'm happy to report that.
The Premier said he could not provide a date of completion, except to say the project should resume within the first quarter of the year. The hospital expansion project, which started in 2017, has been the subject of much debate on the island after it suffered several delays and cost overruns. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. In recent times, several customers have complained about losing money from their bank accounts. It's a development that is affecting not only customers in St. Kitts and Nevis, but across the Caribbean, with persons having hundreds of thousands of dollars withdrawn or used from their accounts as a result of phishing or other forms of online theft. On the latest edition of Newsline 360, which airs on TVC Channel 40 on the cable on Tuesday, January 31st, IT expert and educator Inoite Inanga says this happens partly because persons may unknowingly be sharing their banking information on fake websites which allow hackers to gain access to their accounts.
How do you know a dodgy website? One of the first things that you can look for is a website that might be posing as something else. So you can look for Amazon.com. It may be spelled AMASON.com. You may look for the green bar that says secured HTTPS, but this time it's just HTTP with the same name.
And the lock is not there.
And the lock is not there. You know, or you go on a website, and to have gotten to that website, you've had to click on so many different things just to get to what you're looking for. And a lot of times, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I've seen ads pop up on Facebook for stuff that Facebook knew that I would want. And it was tempting to actually go ahead and make the purchase. And I'm like, and I said, no, there's no way something that is of this value should be sold for this amount of money. I'm sorry, you know? So now how do you protect yourself?
Unless it's on Alibaba.
Good one. So how do you protect yourself? Once again, you have to make sure that you are not using the same password for all those other websites, because once again, the silver bullet is in getting one password if you're using that same password across so many websites, because they can log into, let's say, your Google account, your Google Chrome browser, which stores all your information. Can you imagine?
Is it wise then to be saving all your information on the browser, on Google Chrome?
It makes it convenient.
Right.
It's a better browsing experience. But what I found, some of these websites, even like Google, I don't even know, in the past, you could have used your Gmail username and password to access Microsoft Outlook. That's no longer the case anymore. They've increased the level of security with that. So if you want to use a third party to access your Google information, you have to create a separate password within your account for that particular service. And you can create multiple passwords that never tie back to your initial password. That is a layer of security.
I didn't realize that.
That is a layer of security. So you no longer do it. I mean, you can't use a third party with Google anymore. You're forced to do that.
Newsline 360 airs on TVC Channel 40 on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. with rebroadcasts on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The interview with Mr. Inanga can be found on the TVC Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
Well, I love the cable. Well, it's reliable, the speed, quick. When I come in town, I'm going to Wi-Fi on my phone. I could just say, okay, let me send a quick text. Who Wi-Fi available? You watch the other Wi-Fi and you say, bye. This one say free, but it ain't really free. But the cable more reliable than the others, and it's more, you know, it's local. It's from the home, so it's more trustworthy.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
So the reason I love the cable, prices are reasonable and affordable, and they give back so much to the community and the country.
At Digital Print Plus and Crafted by Design, we're thrilled to be your go-to print shop located in the heart of Bastille. From essential services like printing, copying, and laminating, to a diverse array of school supplies, arts and craft materials, and office essentials, we've got you covered. Don't fret, Digital Print Plus and Crafted by Design are here to stay and ready to be your trusted partners for all your printing and craft supply needs. Ready for a visit? Find us at the corner between Dillio and Princess Street. Just look for the vibrant pink and yellow building with white doors. We can't wait to welcome you to our creative haven.
The Guyana Teachers Union has put Minister of Education Priya Manikchand, Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton, and the Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein on notice that it intends to call a nationwide strike from February 5 to 16, 2024. In a letter dispatched to the Minister of Labour The Guyana Teachers Union has put Minister of Education Priya Manikchand, Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton, and Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein on notice that it intends to call a nationwide strike from February 5 to 16, 2024. In a letter dispatched to the Minister of Labour and the Chief Education Officer, General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union, Coretta MacDonald, highlighted government's failure to address several critical issues. The union's multi-year agreement, salary increases and non-salary benefits without mutual agreements, failure of the chief labor officer to act on grievances outlined by the union, and unresolved matters impacting educational stability are reasons for the looming nationwide strike. On Monday morning, Minister of Labour Joseph Hamilton, instead of speaking directly to the issues outlined by the GTU, said that any industrial action by teachers would be deemed unlawful.
Any strike that is called by the Guyana Teachers Union will be deemed illegal and illegitimate by the Ministry of Labour.
The Guyana Teachers Union made it clear that the union remains committed to resolving outstanding matters amicably, but is disappointed by government agencies with knowledge of the daily plight teachers face. The Labour Minister instead directed the blame at the GTU.
The General Secretary, Ms. Coretta MacDonald, and the executive of the GTU is fully aware, based on the correspondence between the union and the Chief Labor Officer, that they were attempting to have him override procedures and the stages that are necessary for good labor relations.
The Teachers Union, in its letter to Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein, proposed compensation for teachers marking and supervising school-based assessments, highlighting, among other things, the time and dedication of the nation's teachers.
We would hope also that teachers recognize, as I have said when I started this conversation, that they do not work with the Guyana Teachers Union. Your employer is the Ministry of Education, and you're appointed by the Guyana Teachers Union, the Guyana Teaching Commission,
In the correspondence seen by Nightly News, the GTU has requested an urgent meeting to discuss the outstanding matters before the proposed date for the nationwide strike.
To join the illegal strike, your actions will be deemed illegal also. And it follows that your employer will be duty-bound to take whatever necessary disciplinary action against you.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
A new disease has emerged and is affecting the island's yams. According to a statement from the Ministry of Agriculture, rigorous laboratory testing has identified yam rust, a disease caused by a fungus in various agricultural regions. This disease has never been reported in St. Lucia and is of critical concern. The affected varieties include white, yellow, and Portuguese yams. On Monday, January 29th, the Ministry's research unit initiated a survey to assess the prevalence and extent of this disease across the entire island.
What our research team is doing is we are now conducting an investigation to identify the disease, the source, and to see how we can get it under control.
Yam rust produces yellow to light orange bumps on leaves, which are more obvious on the upper surface and sometimes present on leaf stalks and stems. The disease could cause a reduction in yields as well as the death of plants. The Agriculture Minister has noted an increase in emerging plant diseases affecting the island's crucial agricultural sector.
For example, recently we've been witnessing or experiencing some problems in watermelons. The crop is grown very healthy. Weeks before harvesting, all the foliage disappears. We have problems in our coconuts, our coconut mite. You remember we were exporting mangoes, maybe you're not born yet, mangoes to Barbados, and because of the mango seed weevil, we stop exporting. So there are a range of insect pests that are just emerging because of the whole issue of climate change and so on. Now the yam issue is a first time thing. We've not had that experience before. Before we had insects in the soil attacking the yam, and sometimes when the yam is harvested, it's hard. But those insects could have been controlled.
In 2021, yam rust was also identified for the first time in Dominica. The Ministry of Agriculture is collaborating with the farming community to implement effective control measures to prevent transmission. Farmers have been directed to monitor their crops consistently for any signs of infection. Furthermore, they have been strongly advised against moving plant material from one location to another, as this significantly contributes to transmission between farms. Likewise, travelers are encouraged to avoid illegally importing yams and other plant material without permission or guidance. For the DBS News World, I am Zin Romulus.
Why do I love the cable? Well, I have the internet service at home and I never have issues with connectivity. And the way that they're always giving back to the community, that's impressive, and that's a win in my book.
At Digital Print Plus and Crafted by Design, we're thrilled to be your go-to print shop located in the heart of Bastille. From essential services like printing, copying, and laminating, to a diverse array of school supplies, arts and craft materials, and office essentials, we've got you covered. Don't fret, Digital Print Plus and Crafted by Design are here to stay and ready to be your trusted partners for all your printing and craft supply needs. Ready for a visit? Find us at the corner between Dillio and Princess Street. Just look for the vibrant pink and yellow building with white doors. We can't wait to welcome you to our creative haven.
Introducing St. Kitts and Nevis's newest TV channel, Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV. TVC promises to deliver the finest in television broadcasting in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean, with some of the best local programs in news, sports, and entertainment. Join us for Insights, where we delve into the lives of our guests.
Let me see what happened if I put this thing. Big explosion, like, okay, note to self, don't do that again.
Or get in-depth analysis on Newsline 360. We have sports, entertainment, and inspiration. It's all here on TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV, on TelTV Cable Network in St. Martin, and on our website www.tvcplus.live. TVC Channel 40. See the difference.
So the reason I love the cable, the prices are reasonable and affordable, and they give back so much to the community and the country.
We're joined now by Al Jazeera's senior political analyst, Maran Bashar. Let's talk a little bit more about this Jenin hospital attack. It's a brazen attack. Is it a violation of international humanitarian law?
Look, I'm no legal scholar, but for me, this is a clear violation of any human decency, legality, morality, or anything that resembles anything, because these things, these legalities have been created so that this is not done to anyone, whether it's on the Israeli side or the Palestinian or the American or the Iranian or Lebanese or whatever side. At the end of the day, there's a certain sacredness to a hospital or to a school or to a mosque or to a church. But in this very particular case, the Palestinian activist, the militant, he's been there for a while. And his brother, who's the only brother, came to visit him. There was no, reportedly, preparation for another October 7 operation. These were two brothers. One of them was almost paralyzed. So the Israelis, basically, the way they've conducted this operation against this hospital, killing people as patients, not as militants in a battlefield, you know. That certainly is no less than, you know, an act of terror, in fact, by the Israeli state.
Do you think there's a greater sense of impunity on the Israeli side since October 7th, since the war on Gaza?
There certainly has been. Clearly, as Biden predicted, President Biden predicted, the Israelis are angry, they are vengeful, and so on and so forth. But there is another aspect to that. They are losing, or at least they are incapable of achieving their objectives in the war, and hence they're making up for their impotence and their failure by taking it out on the civilian population. And it's this certain exhibitionism that we haven't seen before in as much. Apparently, there are also more reservists, meaning just a larger sector of the Israeli public is participating in this operation, and their behavior shows just how right-wing, how fascistic, how fanatical the Israeli society has become. All of that, in fact, Laura, it reminds me of this very genius, one of those Jewish geniuses, right? There's some of them. And this very particular Israeli Jewish genius by the name of Yeshayahu Leibovich. He was a philosopher, he was an Orthodox Jew, conservative, but he was also a biochemist, a philosopher, a Talmud scholar, lived until he was 90 in Israel. And after the 1967 occupation, he predicted that Israeli soldiers will turn into what he called Judeo-Nazis. He said, and he encouraged Israeli young people not to join the Israeli military, because he said as long as Israel becomes an occupying power, eventually dominating another people will lead them to become fascist themselves. I'm reminded of him nowadays as I see this sadism, this exhibitionism, this egregious acts on the part of the Israeli military everywhere. And the fact that they boast about it, the fact they laugh about it, and you see these Israelis diffusing these videos, countless videos about their heroism against Palestinian children and women and civilians, that's just too ugly.
We get back more to the politics. We've got Ismail Haniyeh, the political head of Hamas, heading to Cairo, talking about movement on a proposal for a ceasefire. Why do you think we are seeing movement now, some 3 weeks after all the talks were dead in the water following the assassination of that top Hamas leader in Beirut?
I think there's a good number of reasons on all fronts, right? I think, of course, the Palestinians are fed up with being bombed, starved, and this and that and the other. And I think Hamas understands that. I think the Israelis have basically bombed everything that's bombable or not bombable in the Gaza Strip. I think whatever is left in Khan Yunis and Rafah, I mean, now there's concentration of more than 1.5 million people there, so I'm not sure how far they can go. I think the Americans are the ones who are really getting their clock reaching its end, because it's an election year. It's getting really out of hand in Yemen, in Jordan, in Syria, in Iraq, and in Lebanon and elsewhere. And Biden keeps saying each and every day, we don't want a regional war. And certainly, I would think he doesn't want, after he committed to end the forever wars, and certainly a war with Iran, as the Republicans now are pushing him in the United States. That's not going to be conducive, neither to America, nor to the Biden administration, nor to Biden himself. So there's a number of clocks ticking. And I think there is, will on the part of the Egyptians and certainly the Qataris to mediate something in the war and have this exchange of captives and prisoners. But when you hear Prime Minister Netanyahu saying, no, we're not going to release, prisoners, thousands of prisoners, we're going to continue with the war and so on and so forth. You would ask, what is going on? Is he just talking to his base? Is he just preparing himself to a Blinken visit pressure on him? We don't know.
We don't, but we will find out soon enough. Marwan Bashara, thanks very much.
An extraordinary sight on the Paris highways. Tractors, hundreds of them, as far as the eye can see. Signs in French reading, "Angry Farmer," angry over what French farmers say is an existential threat to their way of life. Red tape, low prices, and high taxes, they say, may put them out of business.
On participe au mouvement de manifestation des agriculteurs.
We've had enough, this organic farmer says. Enough with demands disconnected from reality. Enough with the markets spiraling downwards. These protests have been rocking France for days. But now, farming unions say they're kicking into higher gear, vowing a siege on the French capital, attempting to block all major roads into Paris, threatening to drive their tractors all the way to Élysée, the presidential palace. In southern France, farmers setting a truck of red peppers on fire, then flipping it. Tires set aflame, trash dumped outside government offices. Tonight, France is deploying some 15,000 police officers to keep farmers from literally shutting down Paris. The Interior Minister threatening arrests, putting farmers on notice, saying authorities won't tolerate a blockade on Paris airports or the Rungus Fresh Food Market, one of the world's largest, which feeds millions of people. The unrest is fueled by frustration over impacts from the war in Ukraine, which led the EU to suspend import limits for Ukrainian food. Now farmers say cheap Ukrainian goods are flooding France and driving down prices. Arnold Puesch runs a poultry and corn farm near Normandy, where two of his kids work with him on the family farm.
For example, wine producer don't sell wine in Russia since 2 years. And Russia was a big market for us.
Some people think these protests are going too far. How do you respond?
You must know that we are on the highway, but we don't destroy the highway. And until now, we have the support of the consumers and the citizens. They are aware that we feed them all the year.
Over the weekend, France's new Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, offered farmers a deal. Steps like simplifying environmental rules and freezing taxes on tractor diesel. But farming unions dismissed it as small potatoes and vowed to keep fighting.
The longer these protests go on, the more there are growing concerns about food shortages in France. And with Paris set to host the Olympic Games in just 5 months, French authorities say this crisis cannot last much longer.
There was a resounding response to the first day of the SKNFA Scouting Showcase on Monday, January 29th at the SKNFA Technical Center. Throngs of young footballers in different age groups came out to display their skills and impress the international scouts and coaches present from U.S. colleges and universities and professional clubs from Central and North America. President of the SKNFA, Atiba Harris, was pleased with Monday's outcome and said that this provides many opportunities for young footballers in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah, it's a fantastic turnout. Many players came out, very excited. I see them out here tonight, giving their all, looking forward to the outcome in the next coming days and see what the scouts take from St. Kitts and Nevis.
How important is this occasion or this event for young footballers in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yeah, I think many as aspiring players, professional players and student athletes, I think this is a great opportunity, and also for our national program as well. We can develop players here from a young age, but the ceiling is not very high because we don't have professional football leagues here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So for players looking to go abroad, we now took the initiative to invite the scouts to our shows, which is a great opportunity for them to see our players in their natural environment.
The 3-day scouting showcase will continue until Wednesday, with each day starting at 5 p.m. at the Technical Center. Players will have opportunities to earn scholarships to play football for U.S. colleges and universities from all 3 divisions in NCAA sports, and the older players can earn opportunities to play football professionally, Central America or the U.S.
Bye.